I totally just fell asleep for like an hour in the middle of the day, and that's like completely unheard of for me. So my voice might be a little funny. Anyway, hey everyone. I also wanted to do a Q&A for the new year, for the new decade, just so that I can, do a little bit of a refresher. I've been online and social media for a few years now, so I thought it would be a great time to celebrate the new year with a Q&A. So, what I did was I just got my water here, by the way, because I'm going to be a little chatty. I'm going to get a bit thirsty. But what I did was I asked you to send questions over on Instagram stories, and I got quite a bit of questions. They're pretty random, so it's got a good variety of questions. So I'm just going to read them off my phone, and yeah. Let's start with, why did you decide to make a YouTube, and do you have any tips? So I started my YouTube exactly a year ago, and I decided to do it because at that time I was working from home. I was running a sticker shop, I was doing social media full-time, and I was home all the time, and I figured, let me stretch my boundaries and start a YouTube channel. And quite honestly, the goal was to get it to a point where I can gain income from YouTube. And so that is the goal with my YouTube, as well as creating more content for you guys, because I love creating videos. I love creating extra content for you. So that's why I decided to create the YouTube. Now that I work full time, I don't post as much. Oh my god, there's a bird right outside. I didn't anticipate getting a full-time job at an office anytime soon. I expected to just build this YouTube channel from the very base. But in that same month that I started the YouTube, I did end up getting a job, so things were put on the back burner. I had to focus on my 9 to 5, and so it hasn't been that active. But anyway, that's the reason why I decided to start a YouTube. It's a lot of fun, but because my account isn't as large, I don't feel like I have the means or the experience to give much tips, because although I'm seeing growth, it's very small growth. It's very new. I'm still getting the hang of everything. And so the only tips I could offer right now is to just start it. You can do it, but make sure that you have a plan beforehand. Know what you're going to post. Know what you're going to be talking about. Make sure that you create your niche like you do with any other social media platform. And post consistently. Being consistent is really important because, like any other platform, YouTube has an algorithm. Make sure that you have your set tools already purchased beforehand. So you can use something like a camera, you can use a high-end camera, you can use a cell phone. That doesn't matter, but you need other tools aside from the camera. Tripods, lighting, things like that. Where are you from, your background? Okay, so I'm from New York City. I was born here, raised, I've always been here my entire life. So I am American, but in terms of my background, my parents are both from Guyana, and that is a country in South America, essentially Guyanese or West Indian, Caribbean. What is your job? You mentioned it's bookish. Yeah, so I work in the publishing industry, so I work at one of the major publishing houses in New York City, and it's Hachette Book Group. They're known for Little Brown, who publishes Circe. So, fun fact. How did you start your Instagram? So, funny thing, my Instagram did not start as a bookstagram. It started as like a foodie account. I know. But it was mostly because I was baking from home, and I was selling goods to people, like mostly friends and family members. And so I would post photos online just to get like visibility that I was making these professional things for my friends, for parties and events and things like that. And it started that way, but I realized I was getting bored with posting that, and so I wanted to post more about things that I was passionate, aside from just food, because obviously I love food. Food is still part of my Instagram now. And so I thought, what are you really passionate about? And of course at the time I was in school, I was pursuing my English major, creative writing, and so I thought, what? Let's do a bookish account. I've never heard of something such as, so it must be really unique. And then turns out I did a lot of research. I went searching through hashtags at the time. Hashtag searching was very easy because it wasn't as full as it is now. And I found out that it's a big thing. So I just, did my research, learned the trends and things that were going on in the community, and I just went from there. I changed my handle and turned it to Pies and Pros so that I can post food and bookish things. And for a time, I was doing that on my main feed. I was posting a lot of bookish things, and then I would have a box of foodie photos, but the foodie photos were not as successful as the bookish photos, so I removed those off of the main grid, and now that's why I post a lot of foodie photos in my stories. So I get a good balance still, and I've, added more things onto my plate since then, but I think it's taken up like a really well-rounded theme, aesthetic. But yeah. Are you still bullet journaling? Yes, I'm still bullet journaling. I was radio silent for a few months in 2019 because my spreads were like really boring and looking the same every single week for months. And so I stopped posting it online. I am still bullet journaling. I just posted a 2020 bullet journal setup that I will link here if you want to check that out afterward. And yeah, I'm still doing it. I will continue to use it into the foreseeable future. I will be posting more bullet journal content on my social media platforms. Stay tuned for that. Your favorite New York City cafes / restaurants. Okay, so this is going to be really controversial because I'm a New Yorker, like born and raised, but I don't really frequent cafes. I don't really sit in coffee shops and hang out and things like that. I think they're amazing coffee shops in New York City, I'm sure, but for the most part, I just make my coffee at home. In New York City, you'll be paying like $4 for a cup of coffee when I can just make it at home and have such great coffee anyway. I will recommend 2 brands of coffee that are New York City coffee brands. One being Blue Bottle Coffee. They're really good. It's a really nice, strong coffee. And Stumptown. Stumptown is incredible, and it's one of my favorite coffees. So in regards to that, that's all I've got. In terms of food, like restaurants, I have been to so many restaurants in New York City. I can't even... If you want to know more about restaurants in New York City, let me know in the comments because I can totally do a whole series on that. I can take you through New York City pizza, New York City Italian, New York City Asian, dim sum, anything that you're interested in. I have frequented many places in each category. So if you are interested, let me know in the comments. I can talk all day about it. But if I can choose one favorite at the moment, I would say it is Veggie Castle, which is just so funny because it's in my hometown, and my hometown is so far out into Queens, which is a borough in New York City. So it's pretty cool that I can name somewhere in my hometown as one of my favorites. It's Veggie Castle. It's a Caribbean restaurant, more of like you can pick up and go sort of thing. They have seating, but it's more of like you're picking it up and going home to eat. But it's Caribbean style food. It's 100% vegan, and as you know, if you've been checking out my Instagram, I have recently gone vegan, so I've been going there quite often because they have a large range of food and it's delicious. Lines are always out the door to this place because it's so good, and I'm telling you, people will trek from as far as New Jersey or Long Island to come to this place in Queens in the middle of nowhere, as people have said about my neighborhood, my hometown, and try this place out. So highly recommend if you are in the New York area, if you're vegan, or if you're just, you're willing to venture out into the Queensboro. Okay, do you make money online? I make a small amount of side income online. It's nothing so substantial that I can live off of it, but I do make a small amount of money, that being I make money off of 3 online outlets, one being my blog, which is ad revenue, Instagram, which is through sponsored posts where brands will send me products to sponsor or promote, and they will also pay me a sum on top of that. And the third is Patreon, where my patrons pay a membership every month to support me, one, and to also give me funds so that I can provide more artistic, creative content for them. So yeah, that's where I get my income via online. How do you do your hair? I do my hair by myself 100%. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars. It is thousands of dollars if you want to get your hair from dark brown / black to this. So I do it myself, and if you're interested in knowing a full step process, this is my 3rd attempt in creating gray hair, and I think this is my best attempt, honestly. So if you are interested in knowing like that whole process, I can definitely do a video on that. Leave a comment below if you are interested. Essentially, Bleach. Favorite books. Y'all need to stop. How can you expect me to answer this one? It's insane. There's just so many that I love. I don't even know. I can tell you one of my recent favorites, and it is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. That is such a fun book. I was recommended to read it by a work friend, and we did a book club together. It was so much fun. It's such a great mystery. Anybody will like it. I think anyone who's a fan of any genre, you don't have to be a thriller or mystery fan to like this book. It's so good. And another book that I have recently fallen in love with, and I've been recommending ever since I finished reading it, is The Haunting of Hill House. If you've seen the show and you like the show, it is just as good, but it's not the same. It's two different stories, so you will experience two amazing storylines if you read the book. I highly recommend. If you're not a fan of it, I still think that you'll love it because it's a classic, and it's not as scary as the show. The show is very scary. I've even gotten spooked a couple of times while watching it, and I'm like a horror every day type of person, so it's not as scary as the TV show. I'll tell you that if you're a little bit sheepish. But it is eerie. And it's so good. It's so good. You have to do it. What is your fashion style? I would say that I am so simple that you couldn't even name my kind of fashion style. Basically, I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of person. I don't like clothes sticking onto me too much. I just like to be loose and free. And if it's the summertime, I'm forced out of my oversized sweaters, but aside from that, it's a jeans and oversized sweater. I don't know if fashion/style includes like hair and beauty and skincare and things like that, but you know, I'm as simple as I am in clothing as I am anywhere else. I don't wear makeup, and my hair is just either down or it's up. I don't do any fun hairstyles. I'm just a really simple person. Oh my god, Logan's here. Okay, as long as he doesn't come in front of the camera, I think we're good, but he's definitely next to the camera. Anyway, we're almost done. What are your sources of inspiration for Instagram and your aesthetic? Sources as in like where I feel inspired, or sources as in like actual places where I get inspiration? Actual places, it's definitely Instagram and Pinterest. Those are my top places for inspiration. I get inspired by the feel, the mood, the vibe. You know, I like really moody photos. You know, I like my shadows as opposed to like the brightness that you see a lot on Instagram. And so I just look specifically for photos like that on Pinterest and Instagram. And lastly, how do you start a blog? So just start it. Like, just do it. You're never gonna get anywhere with wanting to have a blog unless you just do it. And it's very scary at first. You don't know how it's going to end up. You don't know if it's going to be successful or not. But honestly, it'll never be successful. It'll never go anywhere if you don't just start it. You have to do it. So, and it's so easy to start it now. It's 2020, people. There are so many places that you can host your blog. There's Blogger, there's WordPress, there's Squarespace, there's Wix, and I have used almost every single one of I have used every single one of them. So if you are interested in learning more about the platforms and you want more information on which platform you think is best for you, leave a comment below. But yeah, so if you're interested in starting a blog, do let me know if you want more information. But essentially just start it. A base plan on getting started, a few blog posts, a style, how you want your blog to look. Just experiment for a few months. It doesn't have to happen overnight. But you do need to start it, because if you don't, it'll never happen. The niche is one of the most important things, because you don't want to claim yourself as a bookish blog and then you start talking about your skincare routine. And it's fine to have both on your blog, but just make sure that you specify, make sure that you are very clear with what you want to do with your blog, and that it's very clear for people who are visiting. If you do want a lot more information on like the technicalities, definitely leave a comment below and I can work through that, because I have been blogging for many, many years, way past Pies and Pros. Zanga, like I go far as back as Zanga, maybe even further back, like whatever it was back then, I was on it and I was using it, and I have just been going through the different blog phases throughout the years. So I've got some knowledge under my belt. So do let me know if you're interested in that. And that wraps things up. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. It was a lot of fun answering your questions, and I'm very grateful for your questions. If you did like this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified of future videos. And I can't wait to chat with you in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next one.